Go.
Breaking news. In a 2008 interview with Cham Dallas for the Center of Mass Destruction and Defense, he said, and I quote, "The United States is at a greater risk than ever before of nuclear attack. We do have nuclear detection, but it can be shielded. For example, Iran is working on now a 1 KT nuclear weapon. Authorities say, if you see this, we will be put on national alert. And they suggest that you head to the nearest fallout center in major U.S. cities." Now, with Jillian Baker, with examples of nuclear weapons.
There are two types of nuclear bombs, fission bombs and fusion bombs. Fission bombs are bombs that split up larger, heavier fuels such as uranium-235 into smaller, lighter atoms. Neutrons are created in a neutron generator. In this device, foil is broken where masses come together and emit alpha particles which collide with beryllium-9 to create beryllium-8 and free neutrons. These neutrons create fission. Fission takes place in a tamper, which is a huge heated chamber that expands and exerts pressure on the fission core and reflects neutrons into the fission core. A gun-triggered fission bomb uses a small bullet of uranium-235 from a sphere of uranium-235. The sphere is placed at one end of the tube and the bullet is placed at the other side. Explosives are fired and the bullet is fired. This bullet strikes the sphere, goes into the sphere, and hits the generator. The fission reaction begins and the bomb explodes. An example of a gun-triggered fission bomb is the Little Boy. The implosion-triggered fusion bomb includes a sphere of uranium-235 and plutonium-239 core. In this system, explosives are fired, creating a shock wave. This wave compresses the core and the fission reaction begins. This makes the bomb explode. The Fat Man is an example of an implosion-triggered fission bomb. Today, the system has been changed. Now the shock wave hits a piece of plutonium, which strikes beryllium at the center. Fusion bombs are much less efficient than fission bombs, and today are not possible to create. This is because the fuel for fusion, deuterium and tritium, have to be stored at high temperatures that cannot be contained. Tritium has a short half-life, so fuel will constantly have to be replenished. The Teller-Ulam design bomb would involve an implosion fission bomb and a casting of uranium in a tamper. Lithium deuteride and a rod of plutonium would be placed in the center of the bomb. Between the implosion bomb and the cylinder is uranium-238 and plastic foam that is in the bomb casting. If a Teller-Ulam bomb could exist, it would implode the fission bomb, which would give off X-rays. The X-rays would heat the device and cause the tamper to expand and the lithium deuteride to compress, which would create shock waves that would initiate fission, which in turn would make the bomb explode.
A large component of nuclear weapons is radioisotopes. These radioisotopes are extremely unstable nuclei of an atom. A nuclear bomb uses these atoms to increase their explosive tendency. Lithium deuteride and other atoms become extremely unstable as they heat and are introduced to them, creating an insurmountable amount of damage. The radium isotope is linked to jaw deterioration, blood disease, and disfiguration after it was found in paint. Another transit of nuclear war is nuclear waste. After 18 months of service, fuel rods from nuclear reactors must be replaced. These old rods are nuclear waste, which are now transformed into radioactive isotopes. Some of these wastes are given by 238 plutonium. In beryllium and krypton, they form a 238 and it is supposed to be treated as a radioactive waste as well, but usually isn't. Some elements, like 90 beryllium, break down within minutes, but leave waste with a half-life, predictable decay time, of 29 years. Strontium-90 has a similar makeup to calcium, so it has been concerned of showing up in milk. Isotopes with long half-lives are less intense in radioactive decay, while those with a short half-life or more dangerous isotopes with longer half-lives are problematic. When it comes to storage, there is no certainty of the protection. Without radioisotopes, there would be no harmful fallout or destructive weapons. These risks increase with danger over the world because as each country raises a flag of awareness when another builds its weapons.
You might be surprised to discover that there are pros of nuclear weapons. In the case of national security, nuclear weapons are important. Because the United States has nuclear weapons, it has protection against other countries that have nuclear weapons. Without these weapons, a country could easily attack us. The weapons serve as a barrier of attack because all the countries have weapons, so no one would dare to attack the other person.
There are, however, many cons that come with the usage of nuclear weapons. For example, they can cause a huge loss of life as well as a large amount of damage. Everything at the hypocenter of an explosion is immediately vaporized due to temperatures of up to 500 million degrees Fahrenheit. With nuclear weapons, another problem is the radioactive fallout they release when they explode, which can have many negative health effects. Some short-term effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, cataracts, hair loss, and loss of red blood cells. The long-term effects can include leukemia, cancer, infertility, and birth defects. An example of a known radioisotope is iodine-131, which collects in the thyroid gland and increases the risk of thyroid disease, including cancer. The fallout is not limited to the area of the bomb explosion. It can actually be carried hundreds of miles away by winds, where it then enters water supplies or is inhaled by people. In the event of a nuclear war, where many bombs were to be detonated within a short period of time, something called nuclear winter would occur. Nuclear winter is caused by clouds of dust and radioactive material being raised into the atmosphere, blocking out sunlight, lowering temperatures, disrupting food chains, and causing mass extinctions of many species, including humans.
It is clear that we would not want to live in a world with radioisotopes. In a world without them, you would not have to worry about the threat of a nuclear war and the huge loss of life and damage that's associated with it.